So, questions.
Let's go.
Platform. What do you use?
WordPress.
Everyone, all the way around except for one tool.
You're a blogger.
Yes, I'm a blogger.
He's an odd person.
I have actually two going. One is behavioral targeting and one is web analytics. So
How come nobody uses
WordPress for my behavioral targeting?
Because I just got off.
Alright, and then I grow.
And I redirected.
Okay, next question.
I use the WordPress plugin to do it. When somebody told me about that, I was like,
Was it hard to find your blogging voice? Blogging voice. Like
Blogging voice.
voice. Here. Voice. The words you use that didn't sound corporate. Everyone uses it. To find your blogging voice.
Blogging, why didn't I get that blogging?
It's like your sense of like, I'm gonna write from a more personal tone. It's me out here. Writing.
I'll tell you what my blogging voice and my blog generally is very good for. It's actually really quite good for communicating with other people at Microsoft. Because I can put something on my blog, and then people in the development teams, who if I just emailed them with that and say, do you know what, I have some opinion, I think you should read it, and they're like, you just, delete. But if I put it on my blog, I often get people saying, I read your blog post, it was interesting. Like, hey.
you guys have to pay Scoble royalties for that? Change from within.
We didn't agree side table. Was it hard to find your blogging voice?
Yeah. Very hard.
It was?
Yeah. It still is. I think the challenge I've had is just trying to figure out what do I have to say and where does it sit in the giant continuum of Avanish and all the other people that are at this table. I think the key that you do very well and many others do here is that you have to write to find that voice. Like you have to use, there has to be a continuum of writing in order to figure out what in fact you have to contribute.
Yeah, initially I had the same thing. It was like, what am I going to write? How am I going to write? How to present it? And I have, working with all these clients, you have to be very sensitive of what kind of information, how it's coming across. So then basically what I write is mostly about what challenges my clients are facing or what I heard from them and those kind of things. So, but once you start writing, then you get into that kind of rhythm. And Avinash actually, by posting all these rankings,
I'm
in that mood.
Come on, how did you start it?
Shut it off. How did I start? Oh, too many people kept. Yes, thank you. Too many people kept saying that I should write. I used to talk at a lot of conferences, and people were saying you should blog. And I said, blogging, smogging, who cares? But I give credit to Andy Beal. He writes marketing for good. He's the guy who brainwashed me into starting a blog. He's very good. And, he's the one who inspired me about saying no to customers.
Yeah.
You know, when a customer says, and can't you do this other thing?
And
then I started writing. You just like, oh God, this is kind of fun. People read it. Yeah. Chris, I don't think I ever had trouble finding my voice. But when I first started, I had trouble finding things to blog about. Like I felt like I went through periods of like bloggers blog. You know, now I never have that because I have this list of things that I should blog about if only I had time.
That's right.
But
how many cute things do you have in your graph?
I was just going to ask, how big's your queue?
I've got 20 things in the bag.
You probably have 3.
3? Wow.
It's because your frequency is higher than the rest of the blog.
You only blog twice a week.
Okay.
At most twice. Usually less. Would you spend 18 hours blogging? I do. I actually now I spend probably 20, 25 hours because for me it's become this ecosystem of things I have to do. All these people write to me asking for advice, or people comment and say things, and I write back to every single person. And it's this whole ecosystem now. The whole blog by itself. And so somebody just sent an email yesterday saying, oh, we're just trying to figure out, can you just spare 5 minutes in a quick email? All I want to know is how to calculate lifetime value.
Just 5 minutes. Eric, what are the worst questions you've got from your blog? I mean, you've been blogging for years. You're one of the big gurus.
He is the big guru.
The big guru.
I'm not the big guru. You know, I don't think about the questions I get through the blog in terms of good and bad and stuff. I think they're all good questions.
The funny ones then.
Well, the funniest thing that ever happened to me vis-a-vis blogging was when Robert Scoble formerly of Microsoft, said that any marketer who doesn't have an RSS feed should be fired. And at Jupiter Research, I said, Robert Scoble is a nut, and this is exactly the kind of bad rhetoric that you hear from bloggers. And that blew up in my face, because Robert is way more popular than I am. I don't think anybody should be fired for not. This was 2.5 years ago, when nobody should be fired for not adopting a technology that's not proven. But it proved to me the value of the blogging community and the opportunity that there is, and that people, you know, like the comment stream that Avinash gets, I think is fairly unique for all of us. It's the value and the power of the connection that people make with this. And until you have something like that happen, you don't know that people are really paying attention. Right? Feedburner will tell you that there's a lot of subscriptions, but until you get 700 angry people saying, how dare you pick on Robert, Robert's God.
Engagement, right?
They were engaged. And much to my dismay, they were engaged. And I think Scoble, he just apparently just shrugged it off. He's like, yeah, I say a lot of stuff that I don't really think through. I'm like, wonderful. Thanks for telling me that after the fact. Yeah, the blog. I mean, when did I start in 2004? It's fascinating, and I blog through many different platforms. Right, the voice I had at Jupiter Research is different than the tempered voice I have to have at Web Analytics Demystified / Visual Sciences. I walk a line that is difficult to walk, because there's a lot of stuff that I want to say in my blog that I can't, that I would never say. Just like when you were at Intuit, I'm sure there was stuff that you wouldn't blog, or at Microsoft, there's stuff that you wouldn't say. You work for Visual Sciences now, right? Everybody has a parent, they have an owner, or most of us do. You know, you're not the CEO of a company that can say whatever you want.
Wait. Let's hear from Aurélie.
Even though we don't have an owner, but there are things we can't say.
Lots of things I wouldn't say just because I'm the owner. I wouldn't diss software companies that are exhibiting here, because tomorrow I'll have a customer come and need them, and those are really important relationships. And so I can't afford to.
There's like a difference between saying nasty things, which nobody wants, compared than content. Nobody's ever told me what I can't write, and I write exactly what I want to write. In terms of content, there's nothing that I cannot write, or that I've ever sort of second guessed. Like, I'm not going to write this. But beyond the basic things, don't be nasty, be nice, and play fair as much as you can. But beyond those rules, I think Robin writes about anything she wants to, and yeah.
Well, wait,
but Intuit is a weird case, because with Intuit, they sell financial service software. They don't care about whether.
Right.
Yeah. So wait a second.
Ian might be different. Yeah.
Here's a great example. I have a customer who uses Google Analytics, and he is constantly saying to me that there is a larger, more expensive package he would like to use. And
such as Visual Science.
I will not say who it is. And I constantly
larger and more expensive.
I constantly go back to him and say, no, you don't need it. And we can spend the money elsewhere. And it doesn't really matter who it is. There's a lot of options that it could be. But I wouldn't blog about it, because it doesn't make sense for me to say anything like, you don't need this larger package, and name them. Why would I blog about that? Some people do need that larger package.
That's a great post for somebody else.
Say again.
I said that'd make a great post for someone else to talk about.
But that raises an interesting point, right? You know, those of us who have neutrality or perceived neutrality, nobody really writes about the packages. Nobody really writes about the good things and the bad things of any of the packages. I mean, Phil Kemmler's new book through CMS Watch lays it out in gory detail. It's a great piece of work, but nobody does that, and I bet that would be really, really popular. I bet if you said, here's what I hate about Google Analytics. Here's what I love about Google Analytics. Here's what I hate about Omniture. Here's what I love about it. If somebody really wrote that, that would be hugely popular content for a whole subset. It would expose you to a new audience.
You expose you to an audience, but then when you get back to what are your goals? Are your goals to have a great audience, or your goal is to make money in your business?
But the goal was to have the #1 Technorati ranking.
That's his goal.
That's his goal.
So what is success? How do you measure success in your blog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number of comments per post.
Yeah, well, that's...
Okay, 27 seconds to go. Last words?
Quick.
That's it. Books sold.
Books sold.
Dustin.
Okay, so it's sold.
Okay, so when somebody calls me up and says, when somebody calls me up and says, I read your blog all the time and now let's do business.
Ian, come on. What's your success?
My measure of success on the blog is people expressing an interest in